By the time you're watching this, Ross Ulbricht could finally be a free man. To some, he's a reckless outlaw who got what he deserved. To others, he's a martyr for freedom and decentralization. But why does his story matter so much? And what does it say about the world we're building with Bitcoin? Let's mine deep. In October 2013, Ross Ulbricht was arrested in a dramatic FBI sting at a San Francisco library, accused of creating the Silk Road, an online marketplace that used Bitcoin as its currency. Ross became the face of the darknet. To the media, he was Dread Pirate Roberts, a criminal mastermind and the creator of Silk Road, an online marketplace that used Bitcoin as its main currency to traffic drugs and facilitate illegal activity on an unprecedented scale. The trial was equally theatrical. Federal prosecutors painted Ross as a dangerous kingpin, citing messages found on his laptop and even accusing him of plotting murder for hire. Spoiler: those charges were dropped without explanation. What wasn't dropped were the charges for drug trafficking and money laundering, leading to a double life sentence, plus 40 years with no parole.
My son, Ross Ulbricht, is serving a double life sentence, plus 40 years, without parole.
But here's where the cracks in the narrative appear. Two FBI agents who are part of the Silk Road investigation were later convicted for stealing Bitcoin from the platform and abusing their power. Yet Ross wasn't allowed to mention their crimes during his defense. The punishment didn't fit the crime either. Double life sentence for running a website? Meanwhile, others convicted of drug-related offenses tied to Silk Road received far lighter sentences, often just a few years. Ross's writings about liberty and free markets, which prosecutors used to demonize him, became another tool to justify what many saw as judicial overreach. And then there's Ross himself. In prison, he's become a beacon of hope and reform. His fellow inmates describe him as kind, helpful, and upstanding. He's mentored others, shared knowledge, and proven that even in the darkest corners, light can shine through. Outside prison walls, the movement to free Ross has steadily been growing for over 8 years. What started as a small group of Bitcoiners and activists grew into a tidal wave of grassroots support. By the summer of 2024, it had reached a crescendo as Donald Trump made commuting Ross's sentence a cornerstone of his campaign.
And if you vote for me on day one, I will commute the sentence of Ross Ulbricht.
When that promise was met with an uproar of support, it became clear the Free Ross movement had succeeded in turning an individual story into a nationwide cause for justice. So why should you care? In a letter from prison, Ross wrote, "Keep standing for liberty and respect for our rights. Keep fighting for your freedom, and eventually we will win." Ross Ulbricht's story resonates so deeply with people because it's not just about him. It's about the ideals Bitcoin was built on: freedom, decentralization, and the rejection of oppressive systems.
Hello, this is Ross Ulbricht. I'm calling you today from prison, from a maximum security federal penitentiary. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. But first, let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin made me feel like anything was possible. Bitcoin was open to everyone, right? It was like it leveled the playing field. With Bitcoin, I can try to do something that actually makes a difference.
For Bitcoiners, his harsh punishment embodies the exact overreach they're fighting against, a system that wields asymmetric power to crush those who challenge it. But Ross's case also asks bigger questions for the justice system. What does it mean for a society when the punishment far outweighs the crime? When the system itself protects corrupt actors instead of holding them accountable? The Free Ross movement proves that the court of public opinion can sometimes rival the courts of law, forcing those in power to reconsider their actions. If Ross walks free, it will be a victory not just for him, but for anyone who believes in accountability of systems, of leaders, and of ourselves. The question is, will the systems learn from this, or will history repeat itself?